Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be analyzing a chart of a budding actor in one of the regional language film industries in India. His name and birth details will be hidden for privacy reasons. His main question was regarding career. When will he see a big break in his career? He is into theatre, television serials, web series, and to films too, and he would like to know when he would make a big name in the industry. Let me open the chart for you. I will be using Pushyapaksha Ayanamsha for all my calculations and analysis in the Jagannath Hora software, and the chart is in front of you. Leo rising and moon in Aries. The Dasamsa chart is also in front of you, and the Bhava Chalit Chakra of D10. First thing first, since the question is on career, I will go straight into the Dasamsa chart and analyze this chart house by house in a very detailed manner to see if it matches for an actor. Is this really an actor's chart? Leo rises in Dasamsa as well. When we analyze a Dasamsa chart, certain houses are very important. The Artha Trikona houses 2, 6, 10 and the Kama Trikona houses 3, 7, 11. Based on the strong planets in these two categories, we decide whether the person will be into service or business, some kind of something entrepreneurial. In this chart, two planets stand out. Which are those? Mars and Venus. Mars is a strong planet in his own sign in the 4th house, and Venus is a strong planet in his own sign in the 10th house. So both these planets give two Mahapurusha yogas, Ruchaka yoga and Malavya yoga. Now the question is, which one dominates? When we have two Mahapurusha yogas in a chart, we go by the planetary placements in the 4 trikonas. What are the 4 trikonas? Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. Dharma takes first precedence, then comes Artha, then Kama and then Moksha. Here Mars is in a Moksha trikona house, whereas Venus is in an Artha Trikona house. Therefore, Malavya Yoga dominates in this chart over Ruchaka Mahapurusha Yoga. In Venus is also the 10th lord here, strongly posited in his own house, and he is retrograde too. A retrograde planet symbolizes some very strong desire with respect to his significations from past life. So he is carrying that desire into this life, and he is posited in the 10th house. So this is clearly a chart of a person who is into a Venusian career. I wouldn't say an actor specifically, something Venusian, fine arts, entertainment industry, etc. There are other combinations as well which point towards point towards a person who is into entertainment industry, but this alone is sufficient to characterize him as an actor. Okay, let us see how the planets are placed in this chart. Lagna Lord Sun has gone into the 11th house of gains, which is a good position, and he is in Mercury's sign, which is Gemini. Second house, how is the second house? Mercury is debilitated in the 8th house, which is an average placement, but Mercury is with Saturn here. What is Saturn in this chart? Let me pull up the longitudes and basic info for you. Saturn, though his 6th and 7th lord, Saturn happens to be a Pitrakaraka and Mercury is an Atmakaraka. And Atmakaraka Pitrakaraka conjunction is a Raja Yoga. I will talk more about this Raja Yoga later on. Moving on to the 3rd house. 3rd house stands for initiative. 3rd house stands for short breaks in career. travels with respect to career. Why career? Because this is the Dasamsa chart. And this house has a retrograde Jupiter and 7th Lord Rahu. Now Jupiter in 3rd house is a bad placement because that is the Maranakaraka Sthana for Jupiter. And what is the agenda of Jupiter in this chart? Jupiter is the 5th Lord and the 8th Lord. 5th Lord of abilities and recognition, and 8th Lord of hard work and long breaks in career and overcoming obstacles. These two, the lords of these two houses is sitting in the 3rd house, causing a harm to the 5th house and the 8th house. Rahu, who happens to be the 7th Lord, is also in the 3rd house. 3rd house is one of the good placements for Rahu. 3, 6, 11 are good placements for Rahu, and it happens to be the house of Venus. Between Rahu and Jupiter, who is a friend of Venus? It is Rahu. So Rahu dominates here over Jupiter in the 3rd house. Moving on, 4th house. 4th house has the Yogakaraka Mars because he is the 4th and the 9th Lord, strongly posited in the 4th house. So 4th house is for direction, 4th house is for comforts in career, and 9th house is for blessings. So both these house lords Mars is very well placed in this chart, and he is also giving the Ruchaka Mahapurusha Yoga, as I mentioned. And he is in Samasaptaka with a Kendra Lord, that is Venus. So this axis, Venus 410 axis in this chart is extremely good. 4th house of comfort in career and 10th house of career itself. So this gives a feeling that he is enjoying what he is doing. That is what is signified by this combination. 5th house we have already discussed because the Lord is Jupiter. Moving on to 6th and the 7th house. 6th house is for overcoming obstacles, service, etc. And 7th house is for interactions, business, etc. And the Lord is Saturn is placed in the 8th house. For 6th house, this is a good placement because 6th Lord in the 8th house gives Viparita Raj Yoga. So that will be success after a series of obstacles in life. But 7th Lord in 8th house is not a good placement because 8th house becomes a Maraka for 7th house. So if he is going to start something on his own, then there will be some ups and downs that he will have to go through before making any success in it. 8th house we have already discussed with respect to Jupiter's lordship, and I also mentioned that there is Atmakaraka and Pitrakaraka conjunction in the 8th house. So in career perspective, what does this conjunction mean is that Pitrakaraka signifies father and Atmakaraka signifies self, not father as in father per se, but here it means that he will obtain some kind of a help or support who is a father-like figure in the industry after overcoming a lot of obstacles. Why I say that is because this Raj Yoga is happening in the 8th house. Had it been in a trine, it would come to him as a blessing. Had it been in a Kendra, it would have come to him after some hard work. But this is in a Dusthana, so after a lot of hard work, this kind of support is going to come to him in the industry. Moving on, the 9th house. 9th Lord is well placed as we saw earlier, but the 9th house itself has Moon, who is the 12th Lord, and Ketu. Ketu is also the co-lord of Scorpio, which is a good thing, but the natural Karakatva of Ketu is burning something down, depreciating, depleting something down in the place where he's sitting. And moreover, Ketu is eclipsing Moon here. The degree of conjunction is too close. As you can see in all divisional longitudes, in D10, Moon is at 10 Aries and Ketu is at 8 Aries, very close. So what it could mean is that since ninth house is for luck and fortune, sometimes he would feel deprived of the luck that he deserves, which I confirmed with the person himself. I asked him, do you feel some unlucky sometimes, or do you feel that you are always lucky? For which he answered whatever I had in my mind. But since Ketu is also the fourth lord, he's giving him the direction that he needs in his career. Coming to the 10th house is very strong with Venus, who is forming the Malavya Yoga. 11th house has Sun, 11th house of gains has Sun. Sun stands for political power. But here it would mean connections, some connections. So it's the 11th house of gains has the Lord who signifies, who has the Lagna Lord, who also signifies political connections. 12th house, 12th Lord Moon, we have already discussed that. One question within the question, career question that he had was that he said he is expecting a big project in the coming November, and he wanted to know if he would get a good role. He has already auditioned for it, and he's most likely to be selected. He wanted to know his chances from astrological perspective. Coming to the dashas, the most favorite part of analyzing the chart. As you have already seen in my previous videos, I do not go by the standard Vimshottari dasha. I first see if there is any conditional dasha that is applicable in a chart. In this chart, there are two strong planets giving two Mahapurusha yogas. So Taradasha from Mars and Taradasha from Venus, both are applicable. But which one takes precedence is the planet which is stronger. And I went by the same logic that my guru taught regarding choosing the Mahapurusha yogas when there are more than one Mahapurusha yoga. So I went by Malavya Mahapurusha yoga and chose Taradasha from Venus for this chart. Since moon is eclipsed, the starting point that I took for this dasha was Lagnasphuta. So going forward, clicking on the Nakshatra Dasha tab, I have already put in the settings, but I will still show you what they are. Tara Dasha from Venus, the star will be Rohini, the chart will be D10, and the starting point will be Lagnasphuta. Okay. He is running Sun Mahadasha right now in D10. Sun is the Lagna Lord for this chart, and he is in the 11th house of gains. So with respect to career, he is running a good dasha because that is Lagna Lord's dasha. And I also mentioned that Sun is the planet for connections. So predominantly he would be trying to make a name, an entry in the industry. And during the time frame that he mentioned, he will be running the Antardasha of Venus starting from April 2024 to April 2025. He will be running the Antardasha of Venus, which has given him the Malavya Yoga. So, look from the natal chart, natal Dasamsa chart perspective, he is most likely to get this role of the role that he mentioned that he's likely to get in the November 2024 time period. Now let us look into the Tithi Pravesha chart of the current year to get a better perspective of the same scenario. Okay, let me, yes. 2024, how is the forecast? Hora Lord is Mars, the ruler of the year is Mars. He is strongly posited in his Mula Trikona in the Dasamsa chart, in the 5th house of recognition. And how is he placed in the Tithi Pravesha Rashi chart? He is in, what Lord he is? He is the Lagna, he is the Lagna Lord. Again, posited in the 5th house of recognition. He is in 7, 8, and he is in conjunction with the fourth lord, fourth lord Rahu. Though Mars Rahu conjunction is not that great of a Raj Yoga, because Mars and Rahu are enemies, still there is a weak Raj Yoga in the 5th house. Why I did not mention Mercury is because when you click on the Bhava chart of D1, Mercury has moved to the 6th house. So it's just Mars and Rahu in the 5th house. It's a 4th lord and Lagna lord conjunction in the 5th house of recognition. So this is a pretty good chart. And what dasha would he be running during the November time frame? Let us look at that. Here, go to options and it would be D10. He will be running Jupiter Mahadasha in the annual Tithi Pravesha chart of 2024 during November 2024. And Jupiter, going back to the Bhava chart of Dasamsa, Jupiter is in Samasaptaka with the 5th lord, who is also the Hora lord, giving Guru Mangala Yoga. So Jupiter Dasha, coming again, Jupiter is the Lagna lord, who is in Samasaptaka with the 5th lord, who is also a Hora lord. And this Samasaptaka, the 1-7 combination, gives the yoga called as Guru Mangala Yoga. So this is a very good and auspicious period. If I have to pick another dasha and confirm the same, it would be Taradasha from Saturn, because Saturn is exalted in Libra and he is strongly posited in the 10th house, which is a Kendra. So I'll go ahead and change this to Punarvasu to give me Taradasha from Saturn, and this will be Janmatara Moon because Moon is strong here. And it will be Rahu period during that period. And Rahu, what is there any important point that Rahu is touching? Yes, he is touching the Mantra Pada, which is A5, and Karma Pada, which is A10. Tangible manifestation of recognition and tangible manifestation of the work that he is doing. So in both these two dashas, the time looks very conducive for whatever project he is expected to take up. So I went ahead and gave a prediction that you are likely to get this project. Coming to the main question that he had, when will he see a big break in his career? Let me switch back to natal chart, and the dasha that I was using was Tara dasha from Venus from Lagnasputa. This will be D10 and this will be Rohini. Starting from April 2025, he will be having Moon Mahadasha up until 2035. As I already mentioned, Moon is slightly weak in this chart, but he also happens to be in the Arudha Lagna. Arudha Lagna is the tangible manifestation of the self. That is how he will appear to the people in the industry, people who know him as an actor. Moon is giving, it is the dasha of a planet which is sitting in the Arudha Lagna, but Moon is slightly weak here. You may also notice that Moon and Jupiter Samasaptaka combination is giving Gajakesari Yoga. Gajakesari Yoga stands for fame, but both Moon and Jupiter are slightly weak for the reason that Jupiter Rahu conjunction gives Guru Chandala Yoga in the 3rd house, and Moon Ketu conjunction happens to be an eclipse of the Moon. So I went ahead and gave a small remedy to this person to strengthen both Jupiter and Moon, so that this dasha, this time period becomes auspicious for him in regards to career. Moving on, the next dasha would be the Mars dasha. Mars is a terrific period in his career. The reason is that Mars is the Yoga Karaka, who is strongly placed in his own house, which is 4th house of direction, and he also gives Ruchaka Mahapurusha Yoga. I have not gone into each of these Antardashas, but that because that is a very long period and very far ahead. If at all he approaches me in future, I thought I will give a clearer reading. But for now, all that I would like to say is this Mars period is definitely going to be much better than the previous dashas of Sun and Moon. The Venus Mahadasha would have been good as well. That is when he said he started getting into theater, learning the intricacies of working in the film industry. That is because Venus is also the third lord of initiative. So all the theater work that he did was in the Venus Mahadasha. And then we briefly saw how the Sun Dasha was, and we also discussed about Moon Mahadasha and Mars. Mars is what I'm interested in. Mars Mahadasha would be one of the best dashas for him in future. I would like to bring your attention to one other thing in this chart which I have not discussed in my previous videos, which is Amsha rulers. If you go to Basics tab here and go to Amsha rulers and right click here and go to Dasamsa. These are the deities ruling those planets in the Dasamsa chart. If you see Venus is the most prominent planet here with respect to career. He is in Kubera Amsha. So the focus of Venus is to bring resources, wealth to the native through the career. So this is one small point that I wanted to make with respect to Amsha rulers. In future videos, I will be discussing more on these Amsha rulers as well. Their role is very important in deciding what career a person would likely take up. His next question was the prospectus of marriage and children in his life. So I will move on to the next question. Opening the Navamsha chart. Before I do that, let me touch upon one other thing which I forgot to do. Navamsha chart, apart from being a chart that is predominantly seen for marriage, it is also a chart to see the dharma and innate abilities of a person. Here we have Moon in Lagna and Venus also influencing Lagna. Moon in Lagna or trine gives a very sweet voice to a person, which I could see when I conversed with the person. He could also likely go into singing as well if he wanted to, but he has a very good and sweet voice. And Venus influencing the Lagna shows that he is a Venusian person, somebody who appreciates art and aesthetics in life. Okay, coming to the question about marriage. He wanted to know when would be the likely period to get married, so I will quickly touch upon that aspect as well. Lagna is rising in Aries with the 7th house in Libra. The 7th house will be the house for spouse. When asked about the fiancée, he told me that she is also into fine arts. She is a dancer, and that is seen in the chart. So when I have to make any predictions about the spouse, I take the 7th house in his chart, in Navamsha chart, as Lagna and analyzed various houses. So the next question I asked him was, where is Venus posited in your fiancé's chart? Because in the Navamsha chart, it shows that Venus is a very prominent planet. In her chart would be a very prominent planet. So I wanted to confirm that. And he told me that Venus is posited in Taurus in her chart, and that happens to be the 10th house. So Venus is in the own house. So this kind of gave me a confirmation that yes, I'm looking at the right person's chart and right fiance's chart. Maybe this would be one of the most likely matches, because he told me that he's already into a relationship, and I wanted to confirm that I'm looking at the right pair's chart. Coming to the timing of marriage, the dasha that I picked for this chart is again Tara dasha from Venus, because Venus is strongly posited in his Mula Trikona in Akendra, and it will be from Moon's Putta because Moon is strong here. when I look at the longitudes. So going back to Janmatara moon, this will be D9 and this will remain. He is actually running a very good period when it comes to marriage. He is running the Dasha of 7th Lord up until 2025 October. And within that he is running Ketu Antardasha. What planet is Ketu here? Ketu happens to be in the Upapada Lagna. While timing marriage, Upapada Lagna and the placement of planet, Antardasha planet is very important in connection with Upapada Lagna. I have already told you in my previous videos as well that Antardashas, when judging Antardashas, Arodhapadas are very important, and this Ketu, who is the Antardasha Lord within Venus Mahadasha, is posited in Upapada Lagna, and Upapada Lagna Lord Moon is in Lagna. So this period is very conducive for marriage from natal chart point of view. Let us look at the Tithi Pravesha chart for 2024. Hora Lord is Mars, and let me change this Bhava chart to D9 as well. Mars is the Hora Lord and he is posited in Lagna. And let us see if there are any other combinations in the... No. Yeah. Mars is the Hora Lord. He is also the 7th Lord. He is in Lagna and he is in Samasaptaka with the Yogakaraka Saturn, and he is in conjunction with the 11th Lord of Gains. How is Venus? Lagna Lord Venus has gone into the 11th house of Gains along with Moon. Let me give me one moment. I want to make a quick reset and see if this chart is correct. Yeah, this is the right chart. So I was wondering why the planets look differently. Okay, coming back. Mars is the Hora Lord. He is also the 7th Lord. He is in the Lagna, Lavamsha Lagna. Lavamsha is the chart for marriage, and he being in the Lagna is very auspicious for marriage. And we have 7, 8, 9, 9th Lord and the 10th Mercury. Yeah, 9th Lord Mercury and the 10th Lord Moon are in Samasaptaka, giving Dharmakadmadipati Yoga, which is another Raj Yoga. And Lagna Lord Venus has gone to the 12th house. This one might think that Lagna Lord going to the 12th house is bad, but 12th house is particularly good for Venus. So this is a good placement. And how is the Yoga Karaka Saturn? Saturn is in the 8th house. Not in a very good, I mean, he is not forming any Raj Yoga or anything, but the other combinations suggest that marriage might be a possibility during this year. Let us look at the Tithi Ashtotari Dasha of the D9 chart to see what period he will be running during that time. From March 2023 to April, he will be running the Sun and the Moon Dasha. Sun is also a good Dasha here. Moon is a terrific Dasha because he is giving Dharmakarmadipati Yoga with the 9th Lord, and he is also with the Karaka for marriage, Venus, and also the Lagna Lord here. So there is a high possibility that he will get married during this period if he wishes to. Moon is a very good period for marriage. Let us look at the transit 2 for one last confirmation. I will go back to natal chart here and then go to transit tab and see how the planets, the main two slow moving planets, how they are placed in the transit. Saturn is in Aquarius and Jupiter is in Taurus. Please remember this. I will go back to natal chart. Now Saturn in Aquarius during transit is transiting over the 7th Lord in the natal chart, which is a good thing. And Jupiter in Taurus is aspecting Rahu, who is the co-lord of the 7th house. Both Saturn and Jupiter, because Saturn's 10th aspect and Jupiter's 7th aspect is falling on the co-lord of 7th house, who is Rahu. So this is a very, very auspicious period for the coming together of two souls. In this case, who is the person who came to me and his fiancée, because we saw that the natal dasha is conducive, the annual chart is conducive, and the transit is also conducive. So my next suggestion with respect to marriage was, if marriage is on your cards, then please take a call. You have a very good time coming up. The last thing was about children. Though I did not touch upon anything major in that category, like when he would have children or what kind of children, what sex, nothing. I did not touch upon any of those, because first thing first, let him get married. But I wanted to see if he had happiness from children, which I did by looking at the Saptamsha chart and the Rashi chart. The 5th lord in the Rashi chart, who is Jupiter, is well placed in the Saptamsha chart. He is in the 11th house of Canes, and he is also in Parivartana with house lord Mercury. So this is a good placement, and this chart indicates that he has happiness from children. Jupiter, who is also the Karaka for children, is the 5th lord in this Saptamsha chart, and he is in Samasaptaka with, I'm sorry, not Samasaptaka. Yeah, he is in Samasaptaka, but he is also in exchange with Mercury. If this first child, for the first child, would have a strong influence of Mercury, Jupiter, and Sun, because the Lagna is in Leo and the 5th house is Sagittarius, and the Lord Jupiter is in exchange with Mercury. For these reasons, the first child would have a strong influence of Mercury and Jupiter, or either of the two. This is with respect to children. And in order to confirm if the chart is accurate, which I did the very first thing before analyzing anything in this chart, I collected a lot of events from his life, like when he graduated, when were the times when he took up important projects in his career, etc. And these are the things that I initially do, which I did not discuss in this chart analysis. That is, getting the data right. Getting the data right is very, very important. Most astrologers, I'm not blaming them, but as soon as they get the time of birth, they just go straight into analysis. But that is not how it is to be done. My Guruji, PVR Narasimha Rao sir, the stresses on this point time and again. Get the data right, then the analysis becomes simple and accurate too. Yeah, this brings us to the end of the video. Hope you had a good learning session from the video that I just presented in front of you. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section below, or you can also email to me at sh.scherzo@gmail.com. Have a wonderful week ahead. Thank you for watching.